All right, guys, the 2-iron Stinger, everybody wants to hit it. Tiger Woods just out crushing that thing off the tee, and it was so low. It was knee-high to a caterpillar on there. It didn't get off the ground hardly at all. We're going to talk about how you can hit that, but 2 common mistakes. A lot of times you lose a ton of distance. Maybe you try to hit that Stinger and you just can't make it happen. It doesn't go very far, and it also gets a lot of spin on you, so when it hits the ground, it doesn't actually roll like the pros are getting it to happen. So we're going to go over those 2 big mistakes, talk about how to pure that Stinger just like Tiger Woods. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so as we're first hitting this, let's go ahead and I got my Flight Scope radar out. Let's hit one normal shot, and I got my 2-iron out here. Keep in mind, you can hit this from the fairway. Today I got it teed up just like we would from a tee box. You can really do it from a variety of places, but let's just go ahead and talk about what the normal trajectory for a 2-iron. You can do it with a 3-iron. You can even do it with a hybrid if you want to. Let's see what that maximum height and that vertical launch are just for a normal shot. All right, so I hit that one pretty good, right down the middle of the fairway, maybe just a hair to the right side. Let's take a look at the numbers on Flight Scope. Club head speed is 100 miles an hour. Not too bad, 245 total distance. My angle of attack, so when I was hitting down into that ball, it was negative 1.9. That's pretty good. My vertical launch was 12, meaning that if this is flat with the ground, my ball launched up at 12.9 degrees, 12.6 degrees, excuse me. And the maximum height was 101 feet. So that's the total height that ball got. Now, the mistake that I see a lot of times when players are trying to hit this Stinger is they actually start to chop down on the ball quite a bit. So we're told, hey, put that back in your stance. We're gonna put it kind of on our back foot a little bit. We're gonna really try to hit down into the ball. So our angle of attack on that last one was 1.9, I believe. We're gonna try to hit down. We'll end up getting a much more descending blow on it. And what happens is we don't really get that good clean contact. Because I'm hitting down into the ball so much, I'm really kind of getting my club to smack down on it. It's not going to be as solid. I'm not going to compress the ball as well. Plus all that downward motion gets some backspin on the ball and it starts to rise up and not roll as far. Wherever it lands, it just kind of sits there. Let's try that one out. Kind of the way that I've heard and the way that I see a lot of players try to do this, it doesn't work out very well. So I'm going to put it back in my stance. I'm really going to hit down onto this ball and I'm going to de-loft it and we'll see what happens. There we go. So kind of slice that one over to the right. Not nearly as good. Oh, actually even went in the water up there, so that's a good reason not to hit a shot like that. Let's take a look at the numbers now to see what the differences were. 95 miles an hour club head speed. That was mostly because I'm trying to hit down. I really can't accelerate through there as quickly as I'd want to. A lot of times when players are doing that also, when you got that idea that I'm hitting down into it, they'll almost finish something like this and kind of abbreviate their finish like a punch shot. This isn't a punch, this is a full swing. We want to get that full distance. So that's really 2 things that'll really hurt that. I went from 245 or so on the last one to 216. That's terrible. I lost 30 yards. My angle of attack, you can see from that huge divot, was really, really down. It was so far down the Flight Scope didn't even pick it up. It didn't even get a good reading on it. My vertical launch went from 12 to 5, so pretty good. My height went from 101 to 34. So if you're looking at that shot and you're trying to hit that, you say, okay, I want this Tiger Stinger. That kind of looks like the Tiger Stinger. It's lower. It's not really getting up in the air at all. And we think, well, what gives? Why? How come I can't do it? Now let's go over the right way to do it to actually get tons of speed on this. So first off, I don't want to put that ball way back in my stance. When the pros are doing this and when Tiger's doing this, if you've seen his video, he barely clips the ground. He doesn't take a big divot. We're coming in nice and shallow like a normal shot. So I'm going to play this ball basically the exact same place that I would my normal shot, or maybe just about 1 ball back. So I'm not putting it very far back in my stance at all. Number 2, as I'm de-lofting this club, I don't want to hit a punch shot. This isn't me kind of chopping down into the ball and hitting a punch shot like this. I'm making a normal full swing, so full back swing, and as I come on through, good full finish all the way around. I don't want to see somebody finishing like this. It's going to finish all the way around, nice and high hands. That's going to ensure that you get the speed on there. If I cut off my swing, I'm going to cut off all my distance. The third piece in here, I really want to make sure that my hips and my body open up so that I can de-loft this club. If you look at my hips, if my hips are only a little bit open, I can only get my hands so far in front without having to really feel like they're just all arms past my body. As my hips start to open up more and more, notice how that naturally starts to lean that shaft forward. Now I've taken all the loft off the club face with all this forward shaft lean. That's really good for this type of shot. So instead of hitting down, boom, this way, I'm coming in level, but I'm letting my hips, I'm gonna feel like my belt buckle is facing the targeted impact. I'm gonna feel like my shoulders are tilted and I have all this forward shaft lean. I feel like I'm doing this as I'm coming through the ball. My hands are low, de-lofting the club, opening everything up to get through the ball, and then swinging on through. That's how you go without taking a big divot and still de-loft the club. If you look at my right wrist here, as I start to open up my hips, look how my right wrist really covers the golf ball. Pros talk about that all the time. Get that right wrist back to where the palm of my hand is now facing down to the ground. That's gonna be me covering that golf ball, getting a lot of that forward shaft lean, and really getting that low launching shot. So what I'm gonna do when I put this together, I'm gonna have a lower ball flight, not a big divot, full club head speed, and I'm not gonna create tons of backspin that causes that ball to stop when it lands. It's gonna roll out after I hit it. So again, a little bit up in my stance, really get that body open, good full swing, and then I'm gonna cover the heck out of this thing and really let that take off low and screaming. All right guys, absolutely smoke that one right down the middle, nice and low and solid. That one's really gonna run out for me. Let's take a look at these flight scope numbers and see the differences between the one where you chop down too much. Club head speed was about the same, 101.7. Total distance was 237, so it's gonna come out low. You only wanna hit the shot when it's gonna be able to roll out. About the same distance as my normal one, so that's a good thing. We just kept it lower and under the wind. Angle of attack was only negative 4.4. A little bit more down than a normal shot, but it's still just basically like a normal shot. My vertical launch was 8, and my height was 71. So I kept that thing nice and low, let it run without chopping down into it. So best of luck to you guys. Follow those keys and you're gonna hit those awesome stingers. All right guys, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video on the stinger and crushing it out there. If you wanna have distance for the stinger or any other swing in your game, we've gotta get that big turn. That's what we call the power turn in the Top Speed Golf system. That's what all the pros are doing to get that great distance. I've got an awesome bonus for you. We're gonna go over the power turn in this next video. I'm gonna play a preview of here in a second. You'll just need to click the iCard that pops up on your screen. You'll get instant access to that video and you'll start picking up 5, 10, maybe even 15 yards to every club in your bag right away. I can't wait to help you with your distance. Let's go ahead and get started. Correct technique, we can all hit it with really good distance without a lot of muscular effort. And it all starts out, the very first thing you have to do is get a good powerful turn to load up the body. And it's not only in golf, but in all sports we have to rotate the body. At least 90 degrees with the shoulders as you swing to the top. Preferably, we can go even a little bit past 90 to really get loaded up. That's gonna allow us to have a lot of power. So we don't just have to look at golf for this. Let's actually look at other sports. They're rotating their body, then they're coming forward. So we have to get that load. We have to get this big shoulder turn to be able to create power in the golf swing. So in this series of videos, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. That's one of the first keys to getting power, and we're all gonna get at least a 90-degree turn, if not more than that. I think you'll be surprised at what you can do. So let's go ahead and get started with the next series of videos, and I'm gonna show you how to get this big, powerful turn. All right guys, so before we go, let's take a look at this in action with some of the top pros. Now here we're looking at Adam Scott, and you're gonna see as he rotates to the top, good full shoulder turn. This is pretty typical of what I see with the top pros, a little past 90. Those guys are working on their flexibility, so sometimes they can get to 100 or even 110 degrees.